Alright, does anyone know Tim Ledwidge? Yeah. So he always does a thing where he sort of makes stuff up on the spot, and I'm not going to do that, but like Alex was saying, I'm just going to kind of do my preamble and then go through all the poems. So this is one I've been thinking about kind of all day, so it's appropriately called Today. Today I've thought about suicide once, I just didn't stop. Today I worry the fact that my skin is really spotty because last night I did nothing but eat 3 chocolate bars in a row. I never have skin problems and I don't think I've got an eating disorder, but fuck me am I worried about how I look. I have been noticing with appreciative shame how many people are posting Me Too. And I don't know if I should add my own voice to that and say, hey, Me Too, or if I can just look at it and say, I am not as good a person as I think I've been in the past 10 years. I have been an arsehole and I need to own that. Fuck this, I don't like mics. Fuck that, I'm gonna go, can everyone hear me alright? Yeah! Cool. I'm gonna go straight into stuff. I don't know why I tried to do Tim Ledwidge. It doesn't work. I just want to say, like, thank you everyone so much for everything you shared. Genuinely, it's fucking humbling to be here, to watch everyone do everything you've done. I am flabbergasted that you've asked me to come here. Thank you so much. It means fucking well to me. You might not have heard it before. No, I'm not. Yes, I am. I'm going to start with a long one. You might not have heard it before. It's called What the Storm Brought to Our Cold Shores. A storm split the sky between where the sun rose from when you could see to where it set and you couldn't. A starvation's worth of teeth bit the clouds with sparks as names, flashes of lightning as epitaphs. The bulimic sky rid itself of its antipathy, far away from the land where its world heard themselves to be the first to sink. Each belly rumble of the thunder regurgitated another argument. By this point, the sea and the shore were barely speaking. They threw themselves at each other's breaking points, urgency hurling like emergency stops to the waves forgot what it was that it was meant to be proving. Sometimes the sea won. Other times the shore victorious, but eventually bitten cold and raw the shoreline slept. And we entered the stage swept clean, as if just for us. Amongst seaweed bedraggled by tides, there lay flotsam and jetsam secrets. Some appealed the council of caves to the west, though it is never known if that stony parliament offered home or harbour, if the remnants found solace there. At our feet, laid out like Sunday best, some lay content or appeared to. Their cargoes crooked, coded progress, a vast adamant wreck of indecision. The east held its tongue, held its own, told no lies, held no surprises, and that no one knew what it knew. And we, as children almost, delighted in the blocky shapes, the square-shouldered roughness, the absence of motion that was so alien to this brash and bright corner of the world. So stained and reeking shadow, painted with the ocean and fair weather maelstroms, bad luck and try harder next time. We couldn't abide portals and avoided warnings, but this strange gift from the sea was candid in its damning destruction, saying you were better off without me. The townsfolk were soon to agree and forbade our intrepid reproach for fear of exile of character and ignorant reproach. The storm spent Earl Grey glory grumbled menacingly as they stuttered stories, drew grave examples as lines in the sand, but whispered of all the boys they had known lost at sea. We knew well. They had never spoken their names before, nor would they since, so we feigned ignorance, played where the coast left the road, and headed in the general direction of the horizon. The pristine, crisp linen of spent energy seas was our only cause for hesitancy. We cliff-faced lied to one another, burbled to the ocean's contraband, yelled excitedly in voices like undercurrents, and put the whole world to our ears that morning, hoping the wet language would translate itself into plain sailing. But we found that shipborne secrets don't keep themselves. And what the storm brought to our cold shores hung around our neck, flock of seagulls as hangman's nooses, but unnatural quiet clouded our judgment. And still the storm's gift gave themselves, stillborn in the hollow beneath our fingertips, the shore eroding away as if to avoid answering. We built homes from driftwood, cathedrals to cargo cult rhetoric, towns of towering corals, and seaweed schools that taught us nothing about the drowning that we were warned of. We drank salt water, the brine's bitter burn preserving us from who knew what, and we had forgotten that we too came from the sea. Amphibious us, our anxious hands leaving clammy surf reach driftwood fingerprints sticky over what we had built. Eventually it came together. A crime scene of reclaimed accidental legal architecture, reconstitution, hope, and pitfall in its eventual persuasive glory. We let our territorial waters flood past borders, felt tides grow within our foreign bodies. Immunity from the capriciousness of the sea's turn. We no longer wanted to play its games. We built our homes on the sand, and by the law of salvage, the structures we adopted from the surf became our responsibilities, and how our responsibilities become us in cargo couture, ship-shaped fashion sense. We spoke the tongues of dead man's shoes. With each fresh catch, the sea bore us, slipping promises beneath our fingers, bottled messages aching for answers. We smiled less. We began to rub sugar and salt into the gills of any new arrival, spat grimly into the surf and shrugged. Sloughed our scaled skin, and now naked, raw beneath the coastal sun, clad only comfortable in flayed flesh, we said, we are nothing like them. We left our death-defying structures to be reclaimed by the tides, saying we had no more time for games. We lived in land to suffocate. Our selfishness an island that they say no man is. I've been practicing my dicks up in control at home in my bedroom. Doesn't look great. If I say anything that anyone is offended by, is hurt by, is triggered by, I sincerely apologise. I deal with poetry every day, and we white collars are not often renowned for being sensitive about it. So if there's anything that touches you, affects you, please do come up to me, correct me. I'm here to be called out. I'm a human, and it's really wonderful being here in this scene where everyone is so kind of unfailingly welcome. Like, you guys don't need to think about it, and it's incredible to see. On that note, this is a really new one, and I kind of hope it never happens to any of you. This happened to me twice. It goes a bit like this. My sister said she saw you not long after we broke up. She said she's not been doing so well. And the way that pause felt coming from someone who has never lost for words told me everything that I didn't want to know about shortcuts and the destinations they lead to. I know I have no right to the answers of questions that I never asked, but curiosity is a scab that I can't help but pick at. I wish you had told me. I wish you had said something. I can understand why you didn't know, how this would have chewed out your teeth as you walked home, every excuse on the pavement home that you can think of. Tell me how you first found out. Was it in a sudden distaste for the bitter black coffee you loved, or was it in a yearning for porridge again? Honey sweetened, spiced by cinnamon, the taste of oats rich on your grieving, no appetite tongue. Tell me, when everything is said and done, did you starve yourself the way you said you never would? To have your body wax concave instead of convex, as if to reflect the parabolic pin plane hourglass carelessness as answers to the equation of us. Woo! Did you resolve it as hard as the realization? Or did you have to anaesthetize yourself against this decision the way you said you would never drink your pain away again? And I wonder if I had found out sooner, there would have been enough room in that excuse for me too. Tell me. When you first found out, did you pat your stomach absent-mindedly, or did you just brush it aside? Did you name it burden, or curse, or something to take care of, or did you simply call it goodbye? If it had been a girl, I would have called it serendipity. It's got a nice cadence to it, and I think that something of equal parts fucked up us can grow into a name like that. If a boy, then bump. Or oops, or accident after his father and his ignorance. And I know that you shouldn't name possibilities just to grieve them, but I only just found out the weight of shoebox coffins and the unworn boots that fill them. And maybe I shouldn't attribute this much weight to a collection of cells not much bigger than a fist. But I know how the weight of that felt in my stomach, so I can't imagine how the absence of it felt in yours. I do believe in choice. And I won't pretend to understand any of the decisions that you had to go through, nor will I compare asking only promises of me to needing 40 weeks of you. I just wish I had been asked what my decision might have been. And that my choice might have mattered too. Thanks. You can follow me on various things, Twitter, Facebook, in real life. You can find me on probably Tumblr somewhere, Instagram, OkCupid, Tinder, Christian Mingle, Muslim Meme, Grindr, Pet Life, I'm not on there anymore. Also, what's the one with the uniforms? I'm not on that yet, but I did try and get my pretentious poet outfit as accurate as I could, so I got the, dot lines, paint on my jeans, jumper. This is pre-torn. I feel really bad about this. I don't want to lie to you guys. I don't think it's sensible. It fucking is. It so is. It was £6 in the sale. I couldn't resist. And look at me. These glasses, not real. Genuinely, there are little things like this that kind of help me deal with anxiety and shit like this. And I was saying before talking to her, I don't feel anxious. You guys are so fucking warm and welcoming. Got up on the stage and I was like, you guys are ridiculous. I should not be headlining. You all should be. You are wonderful. And I love you all so much. I'm really sorry that none of my poetry is happy. I'm not that sorry, as you were saying. I do this to make other people sad. Fucking, it's cheap and fair, you guys. If you don't do it, I recommend you do it. This is one, I don't know if I did this last time, I might have done. I apologise if you've seen this before. It doesn't have a name, but it's kind of got me what it's about, probably. Sorry! It goes like this. With shaking hands, blue by bruises, he raises his last chance hit to his lips, always smokes his cigarettes down to the butt. Not that he ever found an excuse or conjunction with all that lies and shit laying so thick on his preposition tongue. His blistered lips sip himself a fifth away from death, doesn't want to take a step forward with his problems, talks about himself in the third person a lot, his dialogue tainted with too much trouble because he wasn't the last or only one left behind. He's got a lot of lost youth that he makes up for, but never tries to take more than what he lost. He knows the exact location of his innocence, somewhere in long summers and long winters, but he doesn't want to think about it too much. He represses and tries to forget. Because if he remembers it wrong, he worries that he might be like his fellow victims who became attackers themselves, as if an attack was the best form of defense, but he can raise his arms to protect himself, swaying fists like he's singing gospel without fucking up yet more childhood. You say he's all hate. He certainly doesn't love much. Love is a hard thing to explain when it's been forced on you. Love is a hard thing to justify when it's delivered under false pretenses. Love is a strange thing to call it, but that's just what those memory thieves do to make their own bed more comfortable for when they lay in it. Not that he forgives them either. Just adds it up to all the list of sins his abuser had his goddamn fucking hands in. Difficult to get judgment on things 20 years ago. Difficult to get closure on buttoned up shirts, zip pants, tight lips and uneager memories. Difficult to let go when this is sewn into your skin. Difficult to move on when this has crippled you for years. Difficult to stop this affecting you like you are not the pattern that someone else drew for you. You are not the shirt that someone else sewed for you. You are not the F reaction that he dressed up as love and put you through. Difficult, but not impossible. And he knows this. He's always talking about killing birds with one stone, but I know in his pockets it's just probably feathers and paper airplanes, rocks with holes in that he wishes on and saves them up one by one so that they will sink him if he ever gets far enough in drowning his sorrows. He's always checking the flights of sparrows. Over in the distance, he's always keeping his distance, he's always talking in circles. He has coins in his throat from coughing up apologies for crimes he can't countenance in the cold light of day. He carries coins in his mouth, so when everyone asks for change, he can only offer compensation, saying, "It's not your fault, it's not your fault," and copper condolences and silver sincerity. With all his memories keeping him like property, he owns up to his issues and says, but he, oh yeah, he has a lot to answer for. Thanks. I decided to do one more from the book, which you can buy for me for £3.50. I printed it myself as a complete vanity project, and there's loads of spelling mistakes in it because I had to rush getting it out there. It's called Variations on Home, and I can do a really sad one from that, or I can do my classic sort of closer. Any preferences? Thank you so much for having me. You were saying you wanted to make this like the warmest fucking night here, and congratulations guys, like this is absolutely wonderful. workshops with help, which would just be kind of a collection of guys getting together, writing stuff, banging stuff off people, hopefully get acts in. If you ever want to learn to run a workshop as well, that's what we want to try and do. So if you want at that kind of stage with uni or whatever, come the fuck along, come to Milk, like Izzy was saying about this earlier, like I want you there, I want all of you guys there just chatting, sharing ideas. This is how poetry works. Poetry is a shared love of, it's a conversation. Poetry is a conversation that fucking needs to keep happening, so keep doing what you're doing. Y'all are amazing. This is my last one. It is called, it's called Sober. It goes like this. I have my coffee strong because I am not. And I've been keeping strange hours and strange company as a result. See, I've been sick for years. I've always known what my cure was, I just never stopped to take it because the antidote always was take none with nothing but strength and willpower. And the only thing that I knew about strength was how strong to pour my drink, and it was always too strong. See, an alcoholic's lives are measured in minutes and days, they're measured in units and regrets and the ways they could have changed, but didn't. And I can tell you that we will never change, because right now, though it feels like a Herculean effort not to stay the destructive same, truth be told, I'm more like Ariadne. It's been in the web of my story and the strands of my recovery around those I love and others around me, and as a poet, I know that I should always pick the option that gives me the best story to tell, but I've been slurring this narrative to every bartender in the city for the past 6 years that would listen, and some of those that wouldn't. The verdict is in. The script is shit. The backstory is cliched, and the acting is amateur dramatics at best. So perhaps time to change the tactics. So the fact is, I am better off without this. I no longer want to rely on poisons to cripple against inevitability. Not when all my friends are fighters, putting on these brave faces to put up with me, when statistically speaking, I'm just gonna let them down. I always used to hear Sam's just gonna burn himself out, but I don't see this as giving up, because that suggests that when I was drinking, I was trying to achieve something, and every alcoholic is a failure. I can't seem to need gaze these days, I know. That used to be because I couldn't see straight. Right now it's because I'm suffering from a slight crisis of confidence and faith. You want to talk about my insecurities? Well, being drunk is a lock, then being sober is a fucking key. So here is every raw and ruined inch of me. I am so damn tired of being so damn tired. And I am so fucking sick of forgetting all the people who I have loved and who I have fucked. And I no longer want to be a perpetual motion machine, drinking in my questions and pissing out my answers. You know, when doctors talk about diseases, they actually normally stop at cancer. Never accepting for a second that addiction is anything other than a fiction, but if that's a fact, right? And I've been living too much of my life as a lie. As it used to be when the drink ran out, so did I. Now you best believe the only shot that I am interested in taking right is this one last shot I have at leading a somewhat sober life. So forgive me if I avoid every offer to avoid my accountability simply because I cannot be counted on. This is my response to irresponsibility. It used to be the rocks on which I drank my whiskey were the only geological permanents in my life. I miss those once rock-solid friends who can no longer let bygones be bygones. And I can't explain the way the world feels so unsteady, sober, that I don't even feel like I've got a leg to stand on. I bet they never tell me about the turbulent tremors in the mind of an addict, or the way a landslide would draw hits you so hard you feel sick. I bet they never tell you about boulders on the shoulders of those who wish they didn't have to get any older. And though these tremors make my fingers look like earthquakes, I am ready to hold my seismic hands to the skies and tell you that I am done feeling rock bottom. They tell me that it takes just 12 steps. It's already looking like thousands, and though I will stand on the tops of shoulders of giants as friends, I am still looking up at the tops of mountains, and I'm ready to use my strength and the will to start making these mountains look like fucking molehills. But they tell me that every journey begins with just a single step, so let me take my first one here real quick. My name's Sam, and I'm an alcoholic. Thank you guys.